On this Wednesday night, an ugly day inside the House of Commons spills outside. The official opposition calls the Prime Minister a coward. Justin Trudeau accuses them of ambulance chasing. And in the middle, the horrible death of a little girl and the woman who killed her.
Also tonight, the return of the mocking game. Donald Trump has taken aim at Christine Blasey Ford. Will voters, especially women, take his words with them into the voting booth? And does Trump think that's a risk worth taking? This is The National.
They are among the most difficult stories, the deaths of innocents, some very young at the hands of others. But today, a rarity. Developments in 3 of these very human stories, each of which have gripped Canadians. It's hard to overstate the fury many Canadians felt when they learned a little girl's killer had been moved from prison to an Indigenous healing lodge. It prompted immediate reaction on Parliament Hill, and today it took another turn. Katie Simpson has the latest.
Rodney Stafford wears his heart on his sweater. His daughter, Tori's face on a pin, is a constant reminder of his loss, a pain that's multiplied over the past month.
Knowing the injustice going on kind of brings you down, but at the same time, seeing the nation's support and knowing that there's an issue here, it's kind of brings you back up.
Stafford takes comfort in the outrage that's emerged after the public learned one of his daughter's killers, Terri-Lynne McClintic, was transferred from a traditional women's institution in Ontario to a healing lodge in Saskatchewan.
To me, this isn't even a political issue. Somebody clearly messed up, made a mistake, and I'm just trying to get this mistake reversed.
But the move has sparked divisive political debate.
Does the Prime Minister agree with the decision to transfer Tori's killer to a healing lodge?
The opposition tabled a motion in the House of Commons today to reverse the decision.
This is a moral issue and that they should do the right thing.
This is about the contrast between a party and a government that respects the rules, that respects the independence of our judicial system, and a party of ambulance-chasing politicians.
The Conservative motion did not pass, and the fight resumed outside of the chamber. Conservative MP Michelle Rempel called the Prime Minister a disgusting coward, but Justin Trudeau stood by his words.
The Conservatives are terribly upset that I referred to them as practicing ambulance-chasing politics, but if they're upset, it's probably because it stings a bit.
Whether Justin Trudeau feels pressured, this former top public safety official says things aren't so simple.
Because we have 24,000 people serving time in the penitentiary system. And if the minister started intervening in every one of those cases, or even a small percentage of them, you're going to have a system then run really politically.
The government has ordered a review of the situation and the policies in place at Correctional Services Canada. Tori Stafford's father has no plans to stop raising awareness about this until the decision is reversed, Rosie.
Okay, Katie, so those things are happening, but can we expect to hear more of this discussion on the political arena, in the political arena?
Yes, because this is an issue that has resonated with many Canadians, not just Conservative supporters. It also plays into their narrative that the Liberals are soft on crime. Justin Trudeau is on the defensive, but he too is trying to build a narrative of his own and an attempt to show just how far the Conservatives are willing to go to make a political point.
Katie, thank you for this. Katie Simpson in Ottawa tonight. As all of that played out in Ottawa, some new freedoms were granted to a Calgary man who killed 5 people in a high-profile stabbing attack. The Alberta Review Board has decided to move Matthew DeGrude to a secure Edmonton hospital to begin his reintegration into the community. When doctors decide he's ready, he'll get escorted trips and could eventually be placed in a halfway house. DeGrude was found not criminally responsible in 2016 for the stabbing deaths of 5 people at a house party in Calgary. The judge ruled he was in a psychotic state at the time.
Well, now to a criminal case that stunned a community in Toronto's downtown. We are learning more about how police zeroed in on alleged serial killer Bruce McArthur in the weeks before his arrest, and how the last known victim was key to breaking that case wide open. Our Joanna Remiliotis has been closely tracking the McArthur case from the very beginning, and after poring through stacks of newly released police documents, she shows us how police found evidence that eluded them for years.
Andrew Kinsman was the last to vanish and the first to lead police to an alleged serial killer. According to unsealed documents, a police probe dubbed Project Prism deemed Kinsman's disappearance in June 2016 suspicious from the start. One clue was the trash. A tenant at Kinsman's building, where he was superintendent, reported Kinsman missing when the garbage wasn't taken out. Kinsman always let someone know if he couldn't. Police scoured Kinsman's phone records, iPad, Facebook page, and online dating profiles. Within 6 weeks, Bruce McCarther was labeled a person of interest, and by early September 2017, the former landscaper was under surveillance. For weeks, officers monitored McCarther's comings and goings from his apartment and put tracking devices on his vehicles and his phones. The surveillance reveals McCarther made frequent stops at clients' homes, fast food restaurants, and Toronto's gay village. A lot of the information in the documents is redacted, but still, a team of CBC journalists did piece together that police named McCarther a suspect in November after finding Kinsman's blood in something McCarther owned. Surveillance was ramped up, ironically, around the time McCarther started working as a mall Santa. It was around then that the home on Mallory Crescent, where McCarther worked as a gardener, came under intense scrutiny. Police believed McCarther had disposed of Kinsman's remains there and secretly installed hidden cameras to monitor the property. As the investigation deepened, so did suspicions. Through dating apps, police linked McCarther to Salim Essen, who disappeared a couple of months before Kinsman, and the similarities to 3 other missing men pointed to McCarther too. Police had noted they all went missing during holidays, were connected to Toronto's gay village, and frequented the same bar, a place where so-called bears, men who sported facial hair, hung out. The investigation ramped up again. Police decided to conduct a covert search of McCarther's apartment. It was a close call. Officers were cloning USBs and desktop hard drives but ran out of time because another surveillance team reported McCarther was heading back. The documents reveal police were planning more searches, but when a man showed up at McCarther's apartment for a date, they moved in, fearing for his safety. McCarther was arrested on January 18th for the murders of Andrew Kinsman and Salim Essen. And just days later, police seized those infamous planters and found more victims' remains. It was only then, 8 years after men started vanishing, that Bruce McCarther was charged as a suspected serial killer. Joanna Rumiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
Here's a look at what else we're working on tonight on The National. She's done it again, this time though on purpose. Why Theresa May was dancing in an attempt to unite her party.
And Donald Trump calls it very old and boring, but stops short of denying a report about how his family worked the U.S. tax system. We'll hear from one of the New York Times journalists who broke the story.
But first, will the U.S. president pay a political price for mocking Brett Kavanaugh's accuser? He's disparaged women before, but still no one expected Donald Trump to go this low at this particular time with this particular woman. Last night, the U.S. president publicly ridiculed Christine Blasey Ford and her allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, possibly risking his Supreme Court confirmation. And as Paul Hunter reports, fanning the flames of anger.
Stop Kavanaugh! I believe survivors!
Nope is the message tonight on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court and in demonstrations like this one across the United States. This amid continued division in this country at Donald Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh, and today at Trump himself for this last night.
How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember.
Openly mocking Christine Blasey Ford, the woman alleging Kavanaugh once sexually assaulted her.
But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember. And a man's life is in tatters.
The crowd, young and old, men and women, cheered and laughed at Trump's version of Ford's tale of assault. Some waved signs, women for Trump. But from Democrats and independents today on Capitol Hill, condemnation.
I thought his comments were disgraceful and shows that he has no empathy for survivors of sexual violence.
I watched it 2 or 3 times. It made me feel sort of sick.
He incited laughter at this woman Why?
The White House denies Trump was mocking Ford, a woman just last week he called credible.
He was stating facts that were given during Dr. Ford's testimony.
It was to highlight gaps in her story, said the White House. But the handful of Republicans still on the fence over Kavanaugh don't buy it. Jeff Flake called it kind of appalling. Lisa Murkowski labeled it wholly inappropriate. Susan Collins, today with police protection, was equally blunt.
The president's comments were just plain wrong.
Is it enough to sway their crucial votes on Kavanaugh when it comes down to it? Just two of them could make the difference, leaving so many to wonder, why would Trump risk making it harder for them to back him on this? One answer, maybe, from the crowd of Trump supporters last night in Mississippi, waiting for what he was about to say.
You know, he doesn't have a good language sometimes, but we didn't elect him for that. We elected him because he stands up for what's right and wrong.
Paul joins us now from Washington with more on this. Okay, that's sort of how it played out politically, but much of what happens next, Paul, is the FBI report on Ford's allegations. What's the latest that we know about that?
Right. Well, reports tonight are that it's pretty much done and that the White House will get it soon. Then it'll go to Capitol Hill, where senators will be allowed to read it starting tomorrow morning, but under tight conditions. No cell phones in the room, and though you can take notes, the notes stay in the room. At this point, there's to be one single copy of the report shared by all. Republicans get it for an hour, then Democrats, then Republicans, then Democrats again, and so on till they're finished. All of it in what's described as a secure, compartmented information facility. Certainly one way to keep it a secret. Then a vote. We'll find out exactly when that happens soon enough. Regardless, though, for millions of Americans, Brett Kavanaugh's nomination is already tainted beyond repair. Rosie.
Hard to imagine that won't leak out in that leaky town, Paul. Thank you for that.
Indeed.
The CBC's Paul Hunter in Washington tonight. We wanted to hear from some female Trump supporters after he mocked Kavanaugh's accusers, so we sent Ron Charles across the border to Buffalo, New York, to hear some of them out.
In Buffalo, New York, Anchor Bar is one of the places Americans of all political stripes gather to indulge in the local delicacy, chicken wings, a culinary unifier. The table just inside the dining room is heavily weighted in support of U.S. President Donald Trump. For Mary Lou Pentasuglio, Trump's speech last night mocking Christine Blasey Ford is just more Trump being Trump.
Our president isn't always the most polite person. And why would we have expected him to change once he got to be president? That's who he was when people voted for him. He was always a little bit of a whole lot of an obnoxious business person, but he was a good business person. And what our country needs is to be run like a business.
Her sister-in-law, Margaret Pentasuglio, says she wasn't impressed by Blasey Ford's Senate committee testimony in the first place.
I think we are convicting him, Kavanaugh, before all the evidence is in.
But not everyone at the table was impressed by Trump's performance last night.
Whoever writes his speeches and lets him talk would say, please, let's clear this before us, because it isn't right. It isn't right.
Even with that, she's not giving up on Trump entirely.
I do support some of his ideas. I do.
At least at this table, anyone expecting Trump's comments to erode his support is operating on a wing and a prayer. Ron Charles, CBC News, Buffalo, New York.
Cynics say Trump's attack on Christine Blasey Ford might also have been a classic attempt at deflection to distract from a whole new controversy. Accusations in the New York Times that Trump's real estate empire was built on some pretty dodgy tax schemes involving his father. Stephen D'Souza explains.
My father gave me a very small loan in 1975.
It's a story Donald Trump is fond of telling.
I started off with $1 million loan, and I built it up to more than $10 billion in value.
But a New York Times investigation found the riches to ultra-riches story Trump loves to spin is built on a shaky foundation of fake companies, complex tax schemes, and more.
From the age of 3, when Donald Trump got his first trust fund, up until today, he is still getting money in the White House from investments that Fred Trump made, that over his lifetime, he got more than $400 million from Fred Trump.
Sifting through thousands of pages of personal and public records, The Times found the Trump family disguised millions in gifts to Trump and his siblings and undervalued real estate holdings to take advantage of improper tax deductions. The Times estimates the family avoided more than $500 million in federal taxes.
It's a totally false attack based on an old recycled news story.
Trump's lawyer says the family worked with tax professionals and that state and federal authorities signed off on everything. Experts, though, say this is more than just a rich family gaming the system.
Somebody in this scheme had a deep understanding of what the rules permitted and how far you could go up against either what was permitted or beyond what was permitted without being caught.
The Times says it's not clear the IRS knew the full extent of what was going on. The scale of the accusations has shocked even longtime watchers of Trump's finances. But could he pay a political price? Consider that he's boasted about avoiding taxes.
He didn't pay any federal income tax. So
that makes
if
me
he's
smart.
paid zero.
New York State tax officials say they are vigorously pursuing all avenues of investigation. The statute of limitations has run out on potential criminal charges, but there's no time limit when it comes to possible civil fines. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
Britain's Prime Minister got people's attention today, not just for her dance moves, but also for delivering an impassioned speech. Theresa May has been struggling to keep her party together while pulling the country out of the European Union. And as the CBC's Thomas Daigle shows us, May is badly in need of a political win.
How's this for a show of confidence? A dancing Theresa May avoiding a repeat of her disastrous Conservative conference speech last year when she suffered through a coughing fit and the set behind her fell apart.
You will have to excuse me if I do cough during the speech. I've been up all night supergluing the backdrop.
The jokes were meant to show a prime minister in full control of her image and her party, instead of the warring Tory factions at odds over the best plan for leaving the EU.
Conservatives will always stand up for a politics that unites us rather than divides us.
Outside the conference hall, a unique mix of characters came to criticize a range of policies.
We want our independence back.
But the most bruising opposition
Is this a leadership bit, Mr. Johnson?
Came from a character on the inside, the cabinet member turned government critic, Boris Johnson.
That is not what we voted for.
He says the Prime Minister's Brexit plan keeps British trade too closely aligned with the EU. May's response?
If we all go off in different directions in pursuit of our own visions of the perfect Brexit, we risk ending up with no Brexit at all.
She's got my vote, 100%, absolutely, and I'm a committed Brexiteer.
And that will do for now, says this politics watcher.
There has been momentum around the idea of a leadership challenge, but I think most people are biding time and just want Brexit to happen.
With the key Brexit deadline just weeks away, it will be difficult to convince the leaders of the 27 other EU member states to back her plan. But just getting this much support within the Conservative Party is something many critics thought would be impossible. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Birmingham.
And other developing stories we're keeping an eye on include Ottawa's revised plan for the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion.
It is our government's responsibility to engage in a meaningful way, two-way dialogue, a sincere, serious dialogue with all Indigenous groups who are impacted.
The government announcing it will not appeal the federal court's ruling, which effectively froze the pipeline in its tracks. Instead, it'll embark on a new round of consultations with Indigenous groups so it can push forward. A former Supreme Court justice has been tapped to oversee the process, but convincing critics it'll be meaningful?
We don't trust the Canadian government because of the last process and how they didn't listen to us. They didn't seriously take our issues and concerns seriously. And how can you have respect when you don't trust the Canadian government?
Indigenous leaders say they are open to the new round of consultations, but whether it'll change anything is a whole other question. Their worry is that the Prime Minister has already made up his mind, deciding the pipeline will get done one way or another. And today, the Minister of Natural Resources insisted no First Nation has a veto on the project. And we do have a lot more ahead tonight on The National. Think of it like a sort of Uber for buses, how one Canadian city is using new technology to fix its public transit.
First, though, she was assaulted next to a packed Parisian patio, and no one stopped her attacker from walking away. Tonight, an in-depth look at how the Me Too movement is fueling a new generation of feminists in France.
I don't think they have a very clear view about this shitty society we live in.
When a person dies suddenly, the cause of death is sometimes, but not always, confirmed by autopsy. Families sometimes don't want one because it is invasive. It requires cutting the body open. But as health reporter Christine Birac shows us, there may be another way, a virtual autopsy that requires no scalpel at all.
To the chest, one to the stomach.
Whether it's on television or in a real lab, autopsies are often done to reveal how someone died unexpectedly. They offer priceless information, and you wouldn't know it from watching these shows, but the procedure is on life support. In Canada and around the world, the number of autopsies being done has been dropping for decades, going from about 17% of all deaths in 1991 to just under 6% in 2016. Falling victim to cost-cutting measures and
next of kin often refuse autopsy because of the damaging of the body by the procedure.
With permission from 99 families, Dutch scientists conducted a study. They compared minimally invasive autopsies on bodies using CT and MRI scans to detect cause of death against invasive exams. In 92% of cases, their conclusions were similar. And in 20% of cases, the minimally invasive head-to-toe scans, along with small tissue samples, discovered added information relating to the cause of death.
It's slightly better than the common autopsy.
I don't go into the gory details.
Pathologist Dr. Jagdish Bhutani has been performing traditional autopsies at Toronto General Hospital for over 30 years. He invites the promise of non-invasive or virtual autopsies, saying the information can help all of us. He says autopsies can reveal who's most at risk for certain diseases, how they spread inside the body, and which treatments actually work.
The virtual autopsy plus the regular gives you a much more complete answer. I think the virtual autopsy has a role to play going forward, but so does the regular autopsy.
Which may make it easier on those who object to invasive autopsies for aesthetic or religious reasons. With more research, Dr. Bhutani expects Toronto General and most other hospitals will someday do a combination of virtual and conventional exams, but the price tag remains a problem.
The other fact remains, a CT is not cheap, an MR is not cheap. The two together are not cheap at all.
Scientists say when virtual autopsies become mainstream, they will offer a wealth of information that can be stored and accessed by generations to come, keeping medical secrets from going to an early grave. Christine Birac, CBC News, Toronto.
Still ahead on The National, the women of France clash over the meaning of feminism. Why some are saying Me Too goes too far. In France tomorrow, the trial opens for a man who catcalled a young woman on a Paris street and then punched her when she told him to shut up. All of it caught on video. Bringing this case to court is uncontroversial, but it's happening as France, like many countries, grapples with a deeply divisive conversation sparked there, as here, by the Me Too movement. As you might expect, France has its own take on things, and French women are leading the way on both sides, those who praise the movement and those who think this brand of feminism goes just too far. The CBC's Margaret Evans looks at that divide and the women on each side in tonight's Dispatch from Paris.
Paris, the French capital.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a place where quite so many conflicting expectations are placed on the modern Western woman. Home to a fashion industry that can be described as liberating and oppressive in the same breath, and somehow all wrapped up in notions of just what it means to be French. No small wonder, then, that the Me Too movement, so overtly American in genesis, had a rocky welcome in France to begin with. But in recent months, there has been a regrouping, along with a video that went viral.
You freeze. Even if you know how to fight, you can freeze. So that's what happened, but I knew he was going to punch me.
In July, 22-year-old Marie Laguerre told a man making lewd suggestions to her in the street to shut up. First, he threw an ashtray at her. Then he followed her and punched her in the head, to the evident shock of those who witnessed it. Her assailant was allowed to carry on his way, but the owner of a nearby cafe had it on tape.
I was very lucky that he gave me the video because he helped me press charges, and then I also posted it on social media with a text. I explained how it made me feel, how it's a systematical thing that happens to all women, that I don't have a single friend who it didn't happen to.
Her ordeal coincides with new laws against sexual harassment in the street just coming into effect in France, giving police the power to impose on-the-spot fines. They're part of the French President Emmanuel Macron's pledge to champion gender equality. He took a page out of Justin Trudeau's book when he was elected in 2017, filling half his cabinet with women and calling the fight against sexism a cultural battle in France. Most critics, Laguerre included, agree he'll have to fight a lot harder, that a law against public catcalling does nothing to change behavior behind closed doors.
It sends a strong message. It's a symbol, but it's more of a symbol than something that can actually be applied.
The answer to the Me Too movement here was something called #Balance ton porc, rat out your pig, a message to French women to speak up, something that hasn't always been culturally easy to do here.
Witness the backlash that took place against it last January, when more than 100 prominent French women, including the iconic Catherine Deneuve, denounced the Me Too movement as having gone too far in a manifesto published in Le Monde newspaper. Rape is a crime, they wrote, but trying to seduce someone, even persistently or cack-handedly, is not, nor is being gentlemanly a macho attack. Men have been punished summarily or forced out of their jobs when all they did was touch someone's knee or try to steal a kiss.
You are building a narrative of victimhood.
Journalist Anne-Elisabeth Moutet is one of the signatories, anti-feminists, according to their critics. Moutet refuses the moniker or to apologize, saying the Me Too movement has succumbed to American prudery, with the potential to roll back the sexual freedoms won by previous generations of French feminists.
I think women and men can be friends. We like flirting without anything coming out of it. We like sex without, slut-shaming anyone. And we like the whole grey area in between where you do not know yet whether things are going to happen or not.
It's known in France as la galanterie, part of the art of seduction. The philosopher Geneviève Fraisse calls it a very old story in France.
It's the end of love if we have gender equality. Well, gender equality is a contradiction with seduction, love, whatever.
But love it or hate it, says Fraisse, Me Too has changed something in France. Young women in particular no longer afraid to call themselves feminists, as she does.
Me Too is an event with a capital E. I believe in this new generation.
And it's a generation talking about Beyonce. One sign that the distance between American and French discourse on feminism isn't as wide as you might think. This is a launch party for a new book asking the question, is Beyonce a feminist? It's billed as a handbook for young people who want to learn about feminism, from the great French thinker Simone de Beauvoir to, yes, Beyonce. Young women say Me Too has started a different kind of conversation here.
I think that in France we have quite a conservative culture, and it's difficult to change people's habits and behaviors.
Co-author Raphaël Ramey-Leleu is also critical of the anti-Me Too letter.
We teach women to distrust each other, to judge each other, and so sisterhood is also a first step in order to create a more equal society.
The canvas of inequality across France, of course, is by no means limited to sex. But it is another reason some critics have railed against the French letter, the notion of privilege lecturing women without. Cécile Farah runs tours of feminist street art in Paris.
Upper class or middle class women, and also educated women and white women, they couldn't talk for the whole of society.
And Marie Laguerre, now an activist with a cause, agrees.
So I don't think they have a very clear view about this shitty society we live in. And then I think they don't know what they're talking about. I think they completely don't know.
But given the challenges still ahead in achieving gender equality in France, women on both sides of that letter do have common cause, especially given the many still unfulfilled promises of the Macron government. And there is common cause, too, on both sides of the Atlantic. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Paris.
Ontario is running an experiment that could have a big impact on public transit across North America. Think Uber, but for the bus.
This is the solution that we've always been looking for years, but the technology wasn't there.
Today will mark a very horrific day in the annals of the Florence Police Department. Pray for these officers and their speedy recovery. Pray for the family who lost the bravest police officer that I have ever known.
Tonight on The National, a deadly day for law enforcement in South Carolina. One officer was killed and 6 others were wounded after being shot at by a suspect. Police say officers were attempting to execute a search warrant at a home when a suspect opened fire and hit 3 deputies. Then 4 more officers were shot as they tried to respond to the scene. One of them was the police officer who died. After a 2-hour standoff with police, the suspect was taken into custody. Police say he'd been holding children hostage in the home. And another developing story we are tracking tonight, the unfolding tragedy in Indonesia. Seeing it with his own eyes, that's Indonesia's president in the shattered city of Palu today. It's been 5 days since the region was hit by a 7.5 magnitude earthquake and the tsunami it unleashed. At least 1,400 people are confirmed dead, but that number will almost certainly shoot higher. Some will likely never be found. This woman has been waiting for days for news of loved ones. So far, nothing. One local hospital has run out of places to put the victims' bodies, so they're left outside. The rescue work is immensely difficult. Buildings were destroyed like they were made of paper. Boats hurled inland like beach toys. Meanwhile, foreign visitors wait around at Palu's severely damaged airport because it is slow getting out. Only a few small planes can take off or land at a time. And see what it looks like from above. Just a glimpse of what rescuers are up against. Looks like a war zone, doesn't it? And the effort to save as many as possible goes on.
She is now advocating for herself. And I think for many people who are in this situation or victims, it's important to start to advocate for yourself.
And that is the lawyer for a woman accusing soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo of rape. Catherine Mayorga is suing him over an alleged 2009 assault, which she says happened at a hotel in Las Vegas. At the time, she says she was forced to sign a settlement to keep quiet, but now she wants at least $200,000 in damages. In a statement today, Ronaldo denied the rape allegation and said his conscience is clear as he awaits the results of an ongoing police investigation. Well, transportation is a pretty hot topic in the tech world right now, with a lot of companies like Uber and Lyft looking for ways to move people more efficiently. And some cities are hoping technology will help revamp their public transportation, especially those with smaller populations where getting an entire bus route going may not be feasible. Case in point, a city in Ontario that thinks it may have found a fix. As Aaron Saltzman tells us, it's an app that lets the passenger decide when and where the bus operates.
Belleville's number 11 bus runs from 9:30 to midnight. That's what's considered late night around here. But while a bus with a Cinderella bedtime might seem quaint to some, this coach is actually cutting edge.
This is a brand new system that has not been used by any other transit service in North America.
Paul Buck is Belleville's transit manager, tasked with finding a way to overcome a problem as old as public transit itself. Up to now, buses here work the way public transit has been run for decades, a fixed route on a fixed schedule. But now this city of 50,000 people is moving to buses booked by an app because the fixed route concept was failing.
So we end up running buses around the city to locations where people may or may not be, and it can be inefficient.
So Belleville found what it hopes is a better way. An app-based system that turns fixed routes into buses on demand. Passengers can order a public transit pickup the same way they would order a ride-hailing service like Uber or Lyft.
You're able to just open up your phone and say, hey, come pick me up?
Yeah, I just booked it and said I want the bus at 10 o'clock and it just said okay, and then...
How cool is that?
I like it, it's good.
Besides pickups, the system also allows passengers to pre-select a time they need to be dropped off, and it will formulate the trip based on that drop-off time.
Did you put in the time for pickup or the time for drop-off?
Time for drop-off.
Are you going to make it?
We're going to be close.
You don't, it's because we delayed the bus.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I'm very sorry if we make you late.
That's okay.
Pickups and drop-offs aren't limited to a preset route. Have some shopping to do? Order a public transit bus to take you there and back.
Bayview Mall at the main entrance, yes.
Now there's no stop there otherwise. This is just somebody
Correct.
asking you to go to the mall entrance
Yes.
with your bus to pick them up.
Right.
Okay.
The system is able to take multiple passenger requests, adjust to each one in real time, factor those times and locations in relation to traffic conditions and the bus's GPS position, and instantly calculate the best possible route. As new requests come in or conditions change, that best route is immediately updated. The driver gets the real-time changes on his tablet, passengers on their phones. It's not quite artificial intelligence, but it sure is clever.
It is intelligent because it's constantly getting feedback and it's adjusting the routes as it's going along without really the need for any human to be managing that process.
Remy Dessa is CEO of Pantonium, the company that developed Belleville's app. He says besides the convenience it offers passengers, it has huge advantages for transit operators.
If I dispatch effectively, I can put more people in my vehicle and run more efficiently. Similarly, I can run at fewer kilometers, less time, that's fewer driver hours, less distance, less cost.
He says his app has global potential. He envisions on-demand buses in suburbs that would connect to fixed routes in dense urban areas.
We're going to change the lives of people who use public transit.
Belleville's late-night bus is a trial run. In a year, they'll decide if they want to expand the service. That seems to be a given.
This is the solution that we've always been looking for years, but the technology wasn't there.
Now it is. And here, they're prepared to pull out all the stops to take advantage. Aaron Saltzman, CBC News, Belleville, Ontario.
Neat idea. And Belleville isn't the only city experimenting with its public transit. Austin, Texas paired up with a company called Via to help people living just outside the city. They can order smaller buses that shuttle them to the city's main bus routes. And further north in Arlington, where there is no bus service at all, Via launched a ride-hailing van service. And here at home, the city of Innisfil, Ontario, 45 minutes north of Toronto, it abandoned the idea of public transit altogether. Instead, residents get subsidized Uber rides, which officials figure could save the town up to $8 million a year. And I want to tell you about another fix, one you'll see here Friday night on The National. It has to do with these goats, the latest employees of a sort at the city of Edmonton. Their job is to help get rid of noxious weeds wreaking havoc. Here's a preview.
I'm watching the group at the top. I don't want them touching those saplings that were newly planted, so I'll give them a command if, get back, lie down.
The goats are actually trained to prefer specific weeds. It's done right from birth, the same way you'd train any animal, really. Repetition and positive reinforcement. They're like dogs that way.
Hey, sweetie.
I listen to the way you talk to the goats. It almost sounds like you're ushering toddlers around.
It is. It feels, I always say, like, it feels like I have 100 toddlers. Good boy. That'll do.
Day one is a long day, but by the end of it, Canadian thistle is on the retreat, the goats are back in their pen, and leafy spurge is next on the hit list.
Next in our moment of the day, after Dr. Donna Strickland won the Nobel Prize, many people reached out, not all of them to the right person.
I had at least 30 friend requests from all over the world. It's amazing. Dubai, North Dakota, Saskatchewan, Australia, India.
First, though, Canadian astronaut Drew Feustel is returning to Earth tomorrow after being in command of the International Space Station for the past 6 months, and he's been reflecting on his time in orbit through music.
16 times around and round, the sun comes up, the sun goes down.
That's the NASA commander Feustel performing his song All Around the World from Space. But he didn't work on this project alone. He had some help back on Earth from a little Canadian band. Does the name Tragically Hip ring a bell?
When the hip is calling, I think it's just a super, super huge honor.
That's right, our Canadian astronaut also just so happens to be good friends with hip bassist Gord Sinclair. The world really is that small.
So we had a number of conversations about what it's like and what he sees and what he feels when he's up there. And I kind of turned that back around and basically attempted to tell his story musically.
Sinclair had the song ready for him by last spring, and then the pair exchanged notes back and forth for months. Not always obvious when your friend is so far away.
It's something we always had to keep pinching ourselves. You know, when Drew would phone on his flyovers and stuff, it's like, wow, I'm actually talking to my pal in outer space.
And the song's message?
A song about love and peace and hope for the future.
A little reminder that sometimes you just need to change perspective.
So, Dragons, can we help your guts today?
Let's try it. Pitches aimed at the stomach and heart.
Once you connect with a senior, you become their friend.
I love that.
Makes you want to cry.
Dragon's Den, Thursday at 8 on CBC, presented by Canada Post.
On the next And with an E.
If there was gold, you would have seen it.
What makes you think these people are going to accept you? Haven't you been paying attention? They already have.
And with an E. New episode Sunday at 7 on CBC.
The bank seemed convinced that your husband ran off with $7,500. This changes everything.
An all-new Frankie Drake Mysteries. Monday on CBC.
So over the years when I've met people, they have said, you know, haven't you got that Nobel Prize yet? But I always thought they were kidding with me.
You remember this story, right? They were certainly not kidding, and ever since, Dr. Donna Strickland has been on a wild ride. You win a Nobel Prize and people, especially journalists, want to talk to you, right? Some reached out over Facebook, but not all of them actually reached her. And one, Donna Strickland in Cambridge, Ontario, suddenly found herself very popular indeed. Her reaction to her sudden fame is our moment of the day.
Then I went downstairs and seen across my big TV screen, Donna Strickland, Nobel Prize winner. Wow, what an interesting day. I had at least 30 friend requests from all over the world. It's amazing. Dubai, North Dakota, Saskatchewan, Australia. These were from scientists, university graduates, students of the universities. I can only fathom how the real Donna Strickland, that is the winner of this Nobel Prize, feels. I'm quite exhausted by this mentally and physically. And I don't know whether I'd ever want to be famous. But all I can say is, Donna Strickland, congrats to you. You go, girl.
She's on the National, so she is famous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she didn't do herself any favors there, right? So, you know, I'd like to think that if anyone wanted to get in touch with me, to tell me whatever is on their mind, that it wouldn't be that hard. But apparently, it actually might be, because if you Google me, you will also find Andrew Chang, the radiation oncology specialist, Andrew Chang, the vitreoretinal ophthalmologist. I don't know what that is. But also in October 2015, featured as bodybuilding.com's Teen Bodybuilder of the Week, Andrew Chang. So
but that probably was you. That probably was you, that last one.
I wish.
You're very accomplished. Your alter egos are very accomplished, but I think maybe we need to do more ads of you on the bus. That's what my takeaway from that.
It's an idea.
I'll get on that. That's the National for October 3rd. Good night, everyone.
Good night.